Hello my dear students, good afternoon and welcome to Gradeup India's largest online education platform. Today we will be discussing DUJAT questions as we did in the last session also. पिछले session में जैसे किया था, we will do it in this session also. Okay, and let me see how many of you are there online. Yes, now. So let's start. This is DUJAT questions. Now these questions are tricky in the sense, see, one desirable goal that you have is to get into, if at all BBA colleges, then you would say Delhi University and Shahid Sukhdev at that. Okay, as will be in the top of the list. Okay, I know that. But then if you want to do that, want to crack these examinations well, or you want to crack these examinations, the first thing to do is know the kind of questions asked and prepare accordingly. Let me check how many of you can answer these questions. Okay, the first one is here. This is DUJAT 2020 second shift. Okay, now the person who has been working here dash the last 10 years suddenly stopped coming to work and has not been seen dash last Tuesday. Which one is the correct answer? Okay, here do we write since or we write for? Okay. Let me tell you the difference. If you do not know, then it will be easier. Since always will come with the beginning time. Since always, whatever you write after since, it is the beginning, the start time. Okay. And the end time for since, the end is today. Okay. So every time you write since, you have to think it like this. Since means from. But to is included in since. Like when I say since, I will not add to this because to is understood and since comes with the start time. So since the last 10 years, it's not possible. The beginning time cannot be 10 years. The beginning time, the entire period is 10 years. The first year will be the first year. Okay, since the first year till the 10th year, it will make sense. So the problem here is we cannot write for at all. So it has to be since, and we have got only one option. So we cannot write since. Sorry, I'm sorry. I said we cannot write since here. We have to write for the last 10 years because here we are talking about a period. So for you have two options. Okay, only these two could be the answers. And then he has not been seen since last Tuesday because here you are giving the beginning time. So the first one should be since, therefore B must be the answer. Okay, that's how you do it. Okay, first of all, knowing the concept and then being able to apply it well. Okay, it says C. Oh, sorry, it is C. I'm actually getting, since cannot come in the first one, right? Since the last 10 years, we have to write for the last 10 years. Okay, so it has to be for and since. I'm sorry, C, absolutely. I actually messed it up. The thing is, the option I messed up, but the concept is the same. For the last 10 years, because it is the entire period, it's not the beginning time. Therefore, since cannot come in the first blank. Okay, and in the since cannot come in the first blank, but in the second one, since has to come because it is the beginning time. So since last Sunday. Therefore, the answer is C. Good. To the next one. Try this. Try this question. Now to this question, what will be the answer for this? Okay, fill in the blanks with the most appropriate pair from among the four choices given. It had long been presumed that that stone tool making was a hallmark of our dash. Hallmark of our genius? Possible. Genius is possible. Genus is not possible. Genus is genus is a particular class, right? Genus is a particular class. So genus is not the answer. It must be genius. It must be genius. Okay. The first blank must be genius. Okay. And the second one must be. Okay. And when we talk about the Diksha, good afternoon, beta. The first one must be genius and the second one must be yes, let me see. Okay. What do you think? What do you think is the correct answer now? Think about it. We are going to talk about genus or genius. You have to read the sentence and understand the sentence. It had long been presumed. See, I was not reading it. Okay, so I have started reading it now. It had long been presumed that stone tool making was a hallmark of our genus or genius. Possible, both are possible. But the sentences that follow will give us the clue. Dash the recent discovery in northwestern Kenya of 3.3 million years old stone tools that are 7 lakh years older than any other such stone tools ever found, such as that it was the more ancient human ancestors. So here we seem to be talking about not the entire human class, but classes of human class. Okay, it's not the entire thing. It's about the okay. We are talking about a category, right? So therefore, the answer should be, okay, D. Absolutely. Very good, Diksha. You got it right. The answer is D. Very nice. Come to the next one. Because we are talking about the group rather than the skill, say, exceptional intelligence that we have. Okay, it is not talking about that. Rather, the group itself. Therefore, to the third question. And Diksha, can you see this one? That is, are you able to watch the video or the video isn't playing? There seems to be an issue in my side, from my side. I don't know. Can you see it? Try this question. It sounds dash that if a low carb diet can prevent a second heart attack from occurring, it should also be able to dash the first occurrence. Yes, sir. Okay. So it seems on my side it's not working. So I'm not able to see the video. Anyway, no issues. Now give me the answer. Give me the answer to this. Rohit Beta, good morning. Answer this question. It sounds dash that if a low carb diet can prevent a second heart attack, if it can prevent a second heart attack from occurring, it should also be able to dash the first occurrence. So what do you think is the answer? Realistic. It sounds realistic or reasonable or logical. Okay. So what are we looking at? It seems realistic it seems natural. It seems something that is happening in front of you. Okay. It seems realistic or reasonable. We will go with reasonable. So reasonable is probably the better word. Okay. Or logical is the better word. Okay, so we can actually be cornering on, say, and we say we narrow it down to logical and reasonable. But what about the second one? The second one will decide it for certain which could be the answer. Okay, it sounds reasonable, or it seems logical that if a low carb diet can prevent a second heart attack from occurring, it should also be able to dash. It should also be able to stop the first occurrence. Okay, so disintegrate the first occurrence. Therefore, this is certainly not the answer, sir. Okay, augment means to increase. So augmenting, enhancing is also not the answer. And fascinating cannot be the answer because the first blank doesn't take it. Therefore, B must be the answer. Allay is to reduce. Allay means to reduce. And foment is to provoke. Foment is provoke. Incite. Okay. This actually means to provoke or to incite. Therefore, the correct answer is B. Absolutely, Diksha. Very, very nice. Very nicely done. Now, to the next question. Okay, let's try the next question here. A sentence has been given in active or passive voice. You have to change the voice by choosing the best option from among the 4 choices. What is active and what is passive? You know that. Okay, I said if the doer is to the left hand side, if the doer is to the left hand side of the verb, okay, the left hand side of the verb, then this is active voice. Sorry, if the doer is to the, if the doer is to the left hand side of the verb, I'm writing correctly, okay, then this is active voice. But if the doer goes to the right hand side of the verb, okay, if the doer comes to the right hand side of the verb, it is called passive voice. So which one is the correct one? Here you need to be careful because it's an interrogative sentence. It's an interrogative sentence and the verb is here. So, does Darjeeling grow tea? Does Darjeeling grow tea? Therefore, this is the subject here. Okay. So, what has happened is the subject is after the verb. Is it passive voice? No, there is one more verb. The subject is to the left of the verb. Because it's an interrogative sentence, it starts with a verb. Because it's an interrogative sentence, it starts with a verb. But still what you will see is the subject is before the verb. Therefore, Darjeeling has to go to the back. The doer has to go to the back. Okay, so which one is correct? Is tea exported by Darjeeling? Exported? No, sir. We are talking about growing. So, exported is not possible. Is tea grown in Darjeeling? This is a possible answer. Do you know if Darjeeling grows tea is active voice only? We have added one more clause, so this is not possible. Tea is grown by Darjeeling, isn't it? We are not trying to write a question tag. Therefore, the correct answer is B. Good. The correct answer is B. It's not D, beta. Okay. So, then come to the next question. Choose the appropriate synonym for, choose the appropriate antonym for the word dilapidated. Okay. Appropriate antonym for dilapidated. What does it mean? What is the opposite of dilapidated? It's a negative word. Now, can you tell me if it's a negative word? Will you be able to tell me that? Dilapidated is all broken and all in a, say, ramshackle condition. So, what do you think? Dilapidated? What will be the opposite? It is A, you say wasteful. See, that is the, we are looking for an antonym. The opposite. Dilapidated is a negative word. Therefore, this cannot be the answer. This also cannot be the answer. There are two, fragrant and fresh. I said dilapidated is all broken. So, this must be fresh. Okay, done. The answer is D. Come to the next one. Now, choose the appropriate antonym. Again, we are looking for an antonym of the word enigmatic from the options given below. Enigmatic from the options given below. Okay. What do we mean by enigmatic? Enigmatic is mysterious. Therefore, tell me the answer. What will be the opposite of enigmatic? What will be the opposite of enigmatic? Okay, mysterious. Therefore, the answer is confused. Okay, loving cannot be the answer. The answer is C. Clear. Very good, Dikshavita. Very nice. Okay, it's C. The next question. Choose the appropriate antonym. Again, we are looking at an antonym. Okay, again, we are looking at an antonym. What is the antonym of this particular word? So, Amit Kumar Mahali. Good morning, beta. Okay, now tell me, what is the antonym? Again, let me tell you, calumny is a negative word. So why are you telling us this? Because what I want you to do is, when you learn vocabulary, okay, there are two things to do. First of all, whenever you come across a word, tell yourself that the word has a negative connotation or a positive connotation or a neutral connotation. That is the first thing to store about a word. Okay, and then the second thing is knowing the parts of speech, whether it's a noun or a verb parts of speech. Okay, knowing whether it's a noun or a verb or an adjective, because a verb must be answered in the verb, a noun must be answered in the noun, because meanings change. Sometimes what happens is a noun does not have the same meaning as the verb or the adjective. So we need to be careful. Two adjectives can have different meanings. Like you see, when I say momentous, both of them have the same root, okay, and I say momentary, the meanings are entirely different. So it's important to know which part of speech it has been written in and how to go about, and then looking at the answer. So when I tell you calumny and I tell you that it's a negative word, you can very easily go ahead and say, okay sir, if it is a negative word, I am looking for a positive word. Okay, so which one? A positive word, sir, small? No. And a carnival is a festival. Okay, there is nothing bad or good about this. It's a carnival is a festival where you make a lot of masti. Okay, and fresh seems to be okay, and commendation, I do not know the meaning. So if at all you were going to guess, you were going to guess between the two, that is fresh and commendation. Okay, and if you, yes, and yes, Diksha has given the answer. Very good. Harsh, good morning, beta. You were late. Sanskriti, you are late. C is the correct one. Very good. Commendation. Commendation is praise or compliments. This is compliments. Okay, prashansa. So, and calumny is actually defaming somebody. Okay, vilifying somebody is what is calumny. Okay, to the next question then. And let me tell you, it is C. Okay, now again, there is a good news for all of you. Offer of the month sale ends tonight. If you're going to join it today, because you see, you are getting the green card for $399 for 6 plus 6 months guarantee, green card validity, 5 exams and 40 plus mock tests. Okay, for BBM, BBA, NCHM and IP MAT. Okay, so green card, you have to use this code D. Okay, avail of this. Slander, very good Sanskriti. Calumny, slander, very nice. Now, if you're looking to prepare for IPM IM 2021, the enrollments are on, you can join this course. Now try this. Below are 4 sentences marked X, Y, W, X, Y, and Z. You're requested to choose one of the 4 alternatives given to determine which would be the most logical sequence of these 4 sentences. How do we do these questions, sir? Again, the approach is pretty different. Don't try to read all the sentences in one go. Don't do it. Go for the options. Go to the options and then from there start doing reverse engineering. Okay. So what we do is we look at how many options start with Y or Z or something like that. Okay. So what we see is, sir, all the beginning sentences are different. So we can actually start with the first one. See whether Y can be the good starting sentence. Now, how should a good starting sentence, the introductory sentence, be? It should not be connecting to some other thought from a previous, so it should not be connecting to a previous thought. Okay, that is, the sentence should look fresh in the sense of not connecting to any previous thought. So let's check. The assistant said, which assistant? Possible, we may start a story like this abruptly, but then let's see. The assistant said, may I please see the bill that you would have got while buying this from us? So while buying this from us, this cannot be the answer, sir. So A we can leave. Come to X. The man replied, which man? That he had lost the bill and demanded. Okay, so this is also not possible. Then Z, the assistant called the store manager who said, as per our policy, without a receipt, we can neither exchange nor return any item. So Z also does not seem to be the good beginning sentence. Then come to the W sentence. A man handed a pair of trousers to the department. Now, okay, so when you say W, sir, a man handed a pair of trousers to the department store sales assistant and said, I would like to change this. So as I no longer like the color. Oh man, and then you start saying the man. Okay, and you start saying the man. Therefore, this must be the beginning sentence, and there is only one option. So option itself has given you the answer. Okay, this is one. Okay, first is looking for the first sentence. Looking for the first sentence through options. First sentence through options. Never try to put them together in one go. Second is always look for a mandatory pair. You will, if it is, suppose we had two options starting with W and W. Okay. Yes, very good, Sanskriti. Yes, Y and X must come together. Now that is called a mandatory pair. So if you're not able to, if all the options had, suppose, W as the first sentence. If all the options had W as the first sentence, then what? Then we will use this trick. We will try to find out two sentences which must come together, which is called a mandatory pair, and you look for the mandatory pair in the options. That is the second thing to do. And the third thing to do is logical connections. Logical connections. Now, to see the logical connection, grammar also helps. So, a man, the articles, they help. Okay. So, these are some of the things to do. The answer is D. Come to the next one. Come to the next question. Now, here we have this sentence where it says, fill in the blank. It says, the railway track ran dash the road and dash a car or two. I could not see any traffic when I traveled that way last summer. I think we have already done this. This was, I suppose this was there in the first shift and the second shift. Okay. So beside and ran beside, bagal mein, by the side of, and besides is apart from. This is apart from. Okay. Then ninth is D. No, ninth is B. Harsh. Beside. Ke bagal mein. The railway track ran beside the road and besides a car or two. Apart from a car or two, we could not see much traffic. So the B is the correct option. Okay. Then to this one. Now, this sentence could be in active or passive. We need to change it to passive or active accordingly. Okay. If this is active, we look for a passive answer. If this is passive, then we look for an active answer. You must investigate the matter thoroughly and submit a report. Active and passive voice. You must investigate the matter thoroughly and submit a report. Now, this is actually in the active voice. Active voice, I told you, is when the doer is to the left hand side of the verb. When the doer is to the left hand side of the verb. When the doer is on the left hand side of the verb. When the doer is on the right hand side of the verb, then this is called passive voice. So tell me which one. This is active affirmative sentence. This is an imperative sentence. I did not ask you to change the form of the sentence. I said, yeah, the correct one is the matter should be investigated thoroughly by you and a report be submitted. Acha, B, they are keeping it as common. Okay, the matter should be investigated thoroughly by you and a report be submitted. Okay, so A is the correct one. Very good. A is the correct one. Why not has to be, sir? Has to be because you don't have to change the verb. The verb can remain as it is. Now there is a good, there are two sentences. What is an imperative sentence? Wait, I'll tell you that also, beta. But then there is a good Really good twist to this. You see, you must investigate the matter thoroughly and submit a report. One says should be, and one says has to be. Sir, and must is not there in any of the sentences. Now, which one is an equivalent of must? Let me tell you. And because there is no, I did not check this in the first go, so I said A as the answer. But the problem is, this is also a good option. So, which one will actually be an equivalent for must model? Okay, it is always has to be. It is always has to be. Has to be is equivalent to must. Has to be, had to be is always equivalent to must. Okay, so we have to write has to be. Okay, it is has to be. It cannot be should be. Okay, but then if we did not have this has to be, then we could have written should also. Okay, so the answer is C. Let me tell you this. First question you asked is this: must is equivalent to has to or have to or had to. So whether you want to write must or you want to write has to, have to, or had to, it's your prerogative. You can do any which thing. But then if it is not given, if this is not there in any of the options and must has come, and if these options are not there, the must is also not there, then you can go with should not. Should. Only then. But then if you have has to, have to, had to, you always need to use this in place of must. Now, Sanskriti asked, what is an imperative sentence? Now, that is also a very important topic. Okay, let us understand these. These are very important. Very quickly, let me tell you the types of sentences. Okay, basically, there are say 5 types of sentences which we need to identify. Should be able to identify if you know English, because that is the fundamental of grammar. First is called an affirmative sentence. An affirmative sentence does not have any words of negation. What are words of negation, sir? I'm not talking about negative words. I'm talking about words of negation. That is no, not, never, nothing, none. No word coming with this sense, no, not, etc. Whether the sentence has a positive meaning or a negative meaning, we don't care. We are not talking about the meaning. Rather, an affirmative sentence will never have these words: no, never, not, nothing, etc. And a negative sentence, on the other hand, will have these words. Whether the meaning is positive or negative, we don't care. He is not a liar is a negative sentence. He is not a liar is a negative sentence. He is a liar is an affirmative sentence. Okay, so first of all, let's understand. Until and unless you have no, not, etc., we cannot qualify a sentence as a negative sentence. Okay, an affirmative sentence does not have no, not, nothing, never, etc. Okay, words of negations are not there. Now, these are the 2 fundamental sentence structures that we have in English. And how do we write these sentences, sir? How do we write these sentences? We write them like this: subject plus verb. If it's a negative sentence, you will have that no, not, nothing somewhere here, somewhere in this sentence. And then the third sentence is called the imperative sentence. Now, imperative sentences are nothing but sentences which happen between the first person and the second person. Now, who is the first person? The speaker. I, we. It is the first person. And the second person is the first person speaking to. If I'm talking to Sanskriti, I am the first person and Sanskriti is the second person. And it is always the first person talking to the second person. Always remember, an imperative is always between the first and the second persons. Okay, the first person tells the second person to do something. And the issue is the first person will never be there in the sentence. And sometimes even the second person is not seen. Only what has to be done, okay, kids. So, yes, we were stuck here. We're stuck here. Now it's okay. It's working fine. Okay. Okay, kids. So, okay. So let's start. Okay. So what I was telling you was An imperative sentence always gives us, we are talking about two things. Okay, the first person is talking to the second person. That's what we learned. Okay. Okay, and I said exclamatory sentences are when you use an exclamatory word, an interjectory word, and you use a complete affirmative or negative clause. Affirmative or negative clause. This is called an exclamatory sentence. But there is one more exclamatory sentence which looks more like an imperative sentence, where only that exclamation is expressed as a phrase. It is again not a sentence. Like things like this, you see, good morning, sir. Now, this is actually given a special name, good morning, sir. It's a kind of exclamatory sentence. But then there is a wish, sir. There is no exclamation as such, but then you're looking at it for the first time. So a kind of exclamation is also there. These are called, within the exclamatory sentences, we could say that we also have sentences called optative sentences, where again, the first person's is talking to the second person. Usually it is wishes, prayers, etc. Those are called optative sentences, or complete exclamations like this. What a shot. Now you see, there is no clause here, just a phrase. Just a phrase. Now this is different from this particular exclamatory sentence. You see where I have said, alas, I have lost my purse. Here I have a complete sentence, and here I don't have a complete sentence. Okay, so these are places where active and passive might become a little tricky, because without a verb, how are you going to do an active or a passive voice? Okay, so these are tricky areas. I'll teach you those in the class. Okay, whenever you come to the classes, I'll teach you those concepts. Don't worry. Now here, do you imitate the fashions of others? Is the fashion of others imitated by you? I think this also is a sentence we have already done in one of the sessions. Okay, then here, this also we did it, I think. Okay, so what is the answer to this? This also we have done. The answer is C. Okay, we have to start with why, where it says, for farmers, one of the most dangerous insect pests is the locust. Well, I've introduced the thought. And then Z, it says a locust flies in a swarm with other locusts and attacks crops and destroys them. That's why it is it's a dangerous insect, dangerous pest. And then W says, at first appearance, it looks just like an ordinary harmless grasshopper. On a closer look, one can see these two are compulsory pairs. W and X must come together. So we have C as the answer. Okay. For any course related queries, you can call these numbers, and please do subscribe to the YouTube channel to get the notifications, and do also subscribe to our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description. Thank you all very much for being patient. The class actually went bust in the middle, but then you still stayed there. Thank you all very much. I'll meet